We're left off page 304. It's spoken if you have in a walled city, if Purim falls, the 15th is on Shabbos, so they read the Megillah on Friday, they say Al Anisim on Shabbos, and they have the Suda on Sunday, which is the 16th. Right? That was the Mechaber. So we're holding in Mishna Berura. Yud Zayin. Omrim Al Anisim. You have the case, Rabbi?
I'm listening.
No, you have to understand the case. If we have Purim on Friday, so in Yerushalayim, when should they read the Megillah? Shabbos. But nobody reads the Megillah on Shabbos because
we postpone it to Sunday.
No. They don't postpone it to Sunday. They read it on Friday with everybody else on the 14th. But when is Purim? What is their day of Purim? Shabbos. So when do you say Al Anisim on Purim? So Friday, although they're reading the Megillah on Friday, in their Shmoneh Esrei they're not saying Al Anisim. Okay? So Shabbos is their Purim, you say Al Anisim. What about the Sudas Purim? So you'd say it should be on the 15th, but no, the Shulchan Aruch says it's on Sunday. Okay, we'll talk. Okay, you have to understand why.
Well,
if it's Purim...
Because Shabbos is special, and you want to honor Shabbos.
Good. That's the Yerushalmi. What you say is the Yerushalmi. Because we want to give special distinction to Purim, and since Shabbos you have to give distinction to Shabbos, Purim would not be acknowledged as being special, so therefore we celebrate on Sunday. That's the reason. Okay? Vomer al Anisim, Shabbos lo be'erev Shabbos, shebemes lekrochim zmanim betesvav lo b'yudalit, because when is Purim for the walled city? It's the 15th, not the 14th. Rak mishum gzeira canal, it's shichdikros Megillah be'erev Shabbos, because there's a concern you may transport the Megillah on Shabbos, therefore we read the Megillah on Friday. Komokum im omar emar ziroso. This is where we left off yesterday. But if actually the person mistakenly had said Al Anisim on Friday, which is the 14th, it's not a hefsek. Why isn't it a hefsek? We had earlier, he said, b'di'evid, if a person read the Megillah on the 14th, a walled city person, he's yotzei. Because we had earlier that a person the 15th, a walled city could be motzi, the person on the 14th. Right? Person who lives in Yerushalayim and he wants to read for a person in Tel Aviv. He could be, but the question is, but today's not his day. So how could he cover him? You have to be mechuyev b'davar to be motzi. You have to be obligated to cover someone else. So the Mishmur said earlier, because the Rishonim explained that because since b'di'evet, if even the person is 15th, if he would read on the 14th, he would be yotzei. Therefore, he's classified as mechuyev b'davar. He's within the obligation. But let's say it would be the other way. Let's say a 14th person would want to be motzi a person on the 15th. It's not going to work that way. Because the 15th is exclusively the person who lives in the walled city. Okay?
Well, we learned that the object of Purim is not reading, but listening.
No, it's al mikra Mikra, the reading of the Mikra. When you listen, it's Shomei Kona. The listening is the equivalent of you've read it. Right, okay. The Shema Kol Shofar. It's listening to the blast of the shofar. Here it's al mikra Megillah. It's the reading of the Megillah. Okay? B'chedim motzim bo sefer Torah. La yoros. So let's say Friday. You don't take out more than you have regular. You don't take out to say Friday. There's no Kriyas Torah on Friday. So the walled city who has the Megillah on Friday has no Kriyas Torah. But the 14, they have, you read this. You have Kriyas Torah and Purim in the morning, right? Oh. What about a question? We said Tveria. Tveria reads the Megillah on the 14th and the 15th. Okay? So let's say it would be during the week. 14th and 15th during the week. They say Al Nisa on both days. Now, but the Suda is not celebrated on Shabbos, but on Sunday. Ernie, this is your... The Amina B'Yushalmi says, V'yasos b'Shabbos. What do you do? V'yasos b'Shabbos. Do you celebrate Purim on Shabbos? Omale Yemei Mishte Ksiv. Say, it's a day of feasting. Ksiv es shesimchoso tluya bebezdin. Says, now who determines what day you feast? The Bezdin, right? When the Bezdin says, the first day of Adar begins. When Adar begins, you count 15 days or 14. That's day of feasting. What determines which day Shabbos is? The Gemara says that's set from the time of creation. The seventh day of the week, naturally, whether the Bezdin says it is or it's not, it's Shabbos. Yom Tov, it's Mekadosh Yisrael Vazmanim, right? Yisrael is Mekadosh Desmanim. Week, sanctified time. That's the Sanhedrin. Shabbos is sanctified by God. God sanctifies the Shabbos. Yom Tov is sanctified by the Sanhedrin. So he says, Shalmi says, it says you may, Eshe Simchoso Tlui Bebezdin, Yotzeh Zeh Eshe Simchoso Bidei Shamayim Hi. The obligation to celebrate or to treat Shabbos specially, that's based on heaven. The Melo Sheshluach Shloch Monos Bigam Yom Rishon B'Shabbos. So when do you have Shalach Monos? You have Shalach Monos on the day that you feast. Because the Gemara says in Megillah, why do we send Shalach Monos on Purim? That if a person doesn't have what to eat, is not able to celebrate the Suda, so therefore he has the food of the Shalach Monos to celebrate the Suda. That's the reason. V'inei Hamaral Chaviv. Herech Lochiach the Bavli Shalom Ein Sovekei. He wants to say, he argues the Mechaber, the Maral Chaviv, that the Bavli argues with Yerushalmi that you celebrate on Shabbos, not on Sunday. The Sudas Purim in Yerushalayim, the walled city, would be on the 15th, not the 16th. V'daito Shtudi b'Shabbos, v'osakein Maisa b'Yerushalayim, v'gav shloch monos b'Shabbos. What's so terrible? No. Reading is the 14th. We're talking about the Sudas Shabbos, the Sudas Purim. Oh, wait. We can get there. Good question. That's a good question. Now, B'shloch Monos B'Shabbos, Ki HaMonos Hem Me'asuda. Right? I mean, so how do you do Shalach Monos? Right? You have to have an Eruv. Without an Eruv, it doesn't work. No. This is the difference. No. So, you should answer the question yourself. No. But we say even if the wall doesn't exist. So, what's the Gzeira? Why we consider you may transport the Megillah? Why? You have an obligation to read, and you're not capable of reading. So you're going to transport it to a Chacham to teach you how to read. You're not familiar how to wave the lulav or how to blow the shofar. So because the person has an obligation to read or to blow the shofar or to wave the lulav, he'll be so engrossed in that sense of obligation, he'll go to a Chacham. What's Shalach Monos? You don't get carried away with Shalach Monos. It's just taking two species and giving it to another Jew. The person's not going to violate. There, the question is, he may violate the Shabbos inadvertently. And he has to study. He has to be taught. Shalach Monos, there's no teaching involved. It's just giving, transferring, whatever it is. You have another question. But you're not permitted to give a gift. You don't give gifts on your Shabbos. No, the answer is you can give a gift to Tzorch Mitzvah. For the sake of a mitzvah, you're permitted just to give an ordinary gift. Giving a gift to a bar mitzvah boy in Shabbos. Shuls, they give. Years ago, they used to give a silver cup. Kiddush cup with a tray. With a tray, not only the cup, you got to engrave with your name on it. That's what they used to give. And afterwards, when people became more affluent, they gave a printed book. Right? That's what they give. I know it's a disconnect. Unfortunately, there's a disconnect. Right? And I use the word book. It's a book. Because the edition that they used to give in certain synagogues, was the Hertz Chumash. And the Hertz Chumash, if the commentators, they quote Christian sources in the footnote. That's the footnotes in the Hertz Chumash. It was published by Sansino. Baruch Hashem, today you don't find them in shuls any longer. That Chumash, you don't find it. Okay? V'gam mishloch monos Shabbos ki amonos heim me'asuda v'radvaz chelik alf sim posek k'ashulchan aruch, but the Radvaz, who lived in the time of the Arizal, he rules like the psak, like the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch, that the suda is eaten on Sunday, on the 16th. Gam kein dasam ogen avrom v'korban nisan el tshuvas no Yehuda alv sim membeis v'ini apri chorosh oser letaltel hamegillah b'Shabbos ma'acha shein koren bo. Yeah, what about you're not reading the Megillah on Shabbos? You read it Friday. are you permitted to transport the Megillah? Because we're saying the only reason why you're not permitted to transport is because you have an obligation. But if you already discharge your obligation on Friday, you should be permitted, let's say during the year, a person wants to pick up the Megillah in the house. You want to read the Megillah? You're permitted. You want to study from the Megillah. You want to show a person the beautiful Megillah you have, that your wife gave you as a gift. Right? You're permitted. It's not muktzah. Megillah is not muktzah. It's no different than any other. You want to, Rus, right? Read Rus. It's not muktzah. The only reason why not, because with Tzur you may transport it. So the year that the 15th falls out on Shabbos, right? So the 15th, we're already where it's a Friday. Is the Megillah muktzah, are they permitted to transport the Megillah within an Eruv in the walled city or not? That's the discussion. So he says, the Pri Chodesh says, you're permitted. Pri Chodesh ostatalta Megillah b'Shabbos, mach shein koren bo. If you don't read it, what's its value? Avol kamachronim choken olav. Umatirim. Why? Just because you don't read from it, why should it be muktzah? It's one of the Sifrei Kodesh. I mean, it's ksuvim. It's one of the scripture. Why should it be muktzah? See, I would say the reason is, maybe it would be, is because since normally you should read on the 15th. So if we allow a person to engage with the Megillah on the 15th, he actually may want to read it on the 15th. If we can engage with it, maybe we'll read it. Once we read from it, then it becomes a problem. You want to read it on Hanukkah, you want to study or before Purim, up to the 14th, it's fine, not a problem. Because everybody understands before the 14th there's no obligation to read the Megillah. But normally the 15th you do read. So if you allow the person to engage with it, he may end up actually believing that you could read it. So if you read, then it becomes a question of transporting. No, but I'm explaining to you the reason. Because Tesvav should be the day you read. But this year it's not, because there's a concern you may transport it. So therefore, we're concerned if you allow the person to read it, he may believe that you could be yotzi his obligation. So if he has that mistaken understanding, he may take it and transport it to a teacher to teach him how to read it. You always read it. I mean, in Eretz Yisrael, it would be the question. You always read Megillus Rus on the second day. Second day is never Shabbos. Never on Shabbos. Right. That's firstly. Secondly, Megillus Rus is not an obligation. It's a minhag. It's a custom. It's a minhag. Right. Here, every Jew has an obligation. You must listen has an obligation to read it. Every Jew, even a woman, has an obligation. So there's a concern. Somebody, if you have every Jew, there's a concern. If you have a person who's, it's a minhag, so you have a Bal Koreh. Like Tosi has a question in Megillah, Kriyas Torah. How do we read the Torah? Read the Torah on Shabbos? What a person knows not to read, he may transport the Sefer Torah to someone who teach him how to read. The answer is because there you have a designated reader. It's not an obligation to each person. Here, each individual could read it, and it has an obligation. It's a personal obligation. Therefore, there's a concern. You don't have a designated reader, even though today we do. We have a designated Bal Koreh, but it doesn't make a difference. But multiple people read it for themselves also. This is read only within the context of a minyan. Kriyas Torah.
Rabbi, the only place where there is an obligation to read on the 14th and the 15th is Tiberias.
Correct. Or if you have a similar situation.
But is there any other similar situation?
There may be a few other cities. There are a few other cities. Which
even outside of Futsal?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure outside. I think Sipori, I think, may be a walled city. I'm not sure. To be continued.
So since there is a suffix, they have to read it
both days, but the second day without a bracha. First day with a bracha, second day without a bracha.
And why is that?
Because the majority of Jews read it the first day.
Yes.
So how do I rule in this
No, we rule like the Shulchan Aruch. Yerushalayim, they have it on Sunday.
So they don't go with all the other...
No. There was only one opinion says not Shabbos.
37.
Moga, they ruled that Sunday. They ruled like the Shulchan Aruch.
Oh, the Shulchan Aruch is Sunday.
Sunday. Shalach Monos. I was 1 year. The Cormans had a bar mitzvah on Purim, and that year was Shabbos Purim in Yerushalayim. So we had the suit on Sunday, and all the celebrations in Yerushalayim. No, I'll need some Shabbos. Chris Migla is Friday. I'll need some Shabbos. The suit is on Sunday. So all the celebration in the streets, people celebrating, that was Sunday. No, you have to be able to during the daytime. Right? It's like any Purim. It has to be during the daytime. Yeah. Okay.